Jason Lobated. Can you talk to us a little bit about how it was? I mean, you seem to be almost like batting on a completely different surface to everyone else, and just how did you experience that pitch as the day changed?
I think my hardest phase is up front. I think Roberto was obviously the most challenging for me, and he bowled a really good spell to me up front. For me, it's just more or less trying to get through that spell. I thought he bowled some serious deliveries to me, and then just trying to get the pace of it. I think one of the things I've found here in South Africa is just trying to get accustomed to the bounce. More or less, I think once you get accustomed to the bounce, then you can know how to stay on top of it, leave, and just make a better call in terms of judgment. So, yeah, I just went with it today. There was not much on offer for the spinners, in my opinion. It didn't turn as much as I thought it would have. Well, I guess in comparison to yesterday, with a bit more moisture in the surface, probably did a little bit more. But today was pretty dry, and it was good enough to that you can hit through the line.
And just having experienced the pitch now for 2 days, what do you think could be chaseable in the fourth innings, maybe on day 4, I suppose?
I think if it stays the same way, you can easily get 300 plus runs on that. It won't be easy. Obviously, as the game goes on, the pitch deteriorates. You never know what can happen. I suppose the spinners will probably come into the game as we go on a little bit more. But I think it's important just to really play tomorrow morning very well for us, and then we take it from there. But I think both teams are obviously still within the hunt. They are probably in the ascendancy with the lead, but more often than not, we tend to play well coming from behind. So I expect a little bit more of that fight that we showed in the second Test match coming to the 4 tomorrow morning.
Just before Mel, I have 2 questions from Gavin Richards. Question 1, what was the discussion like coming out to bat with the West Indies in such a spot of bother? And question 2, although you didn't get the magical 3 figures, how would you rate this knock, especially given the context of the game?
Look, for me, I just try to play every situation as best as I possibly can. I forget individual targets or individual accolades, and just play for the team. I went in, and my job was just to form partnerships. In most of our meetings, we speak highly about trying to build partnerships, trying to get in and go big. The innings for me is a good innings, in the context of how the game was going, and wickets falling around you and you being able to basically form strike and shepherd the tail, is always special. Those are the kind of situations that you kind of remember for, and yeah, I thought I did a really good job today playing the situation.
In the discussion before you went out to bat?
Look, I didn't have much of a discussion. I think the situation was pretty clear. I went to the bat with Josh, and Josh was, looking pretty poised. So for us, it's just to get a partnership. We got a good start, went to tea. Coming back out after tea, just simple plan was just to keep going. Fortunately, Josh got out, and then I was able just to form a partnership with each and every batter afterwards.
At one point out there, Jason, it looked like you were maybe limping a little bit, and just wanted to check, was there a problem, and are you okay?
No, all good. I just probably twisted my ankle a little bit, and I shook it off pretty quickly, but I'm all fine.
And just, I guess, further on, you're talking about Rabada. Did it surprise you that they didn't bring him back, considering that was probably the most, and they were saying, there wasn't much turn on offer, and they were relying on their spinners a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I suppose he's probably carrying a bit of a niggle. He did go off the field after his spell, and I saw him limping as well too. So I'm not sure his diagnosis or how bad of an injury he has, but I think he's carrying a bit of a niggle, and probably why you didn't see him come back, for another spell.
And just on that last partnership as well, when you're talking about shepherding the strike, farming the strike, all of that sort of thing, but it looked like your faith in your batting partner at the end really grew. Was that the case?
Look, when Moti came to bat, I think the deficit was still about 100, just over 100 runs, and I just needed him to get in. So I told him up front, I'll just take most of the strike. And as he grew in confidence and he got accustomed to the wicket, I told him, look, it's a situation now, we've got to change and take every single run possible. And I think he did a really outstanding job. I guess it's unfortunate he got out, but I guess that's the way cricket's played as well too. So, look, I think he did an outstanding job. We were able to put on 50 plus for that last wicket partnership, and I think there's a positive going into, well, if you look at it from a batting perspective.
Jace, one question from Ian Wason. Given your recent struggles with the bat, just how much of a relief was that in it?
I think struggles is relative, man. Depends on who you ask. Yeah, sometimes you go through a little lull in your career and you have bad patches, but I think you don't lose confidence. You just always believe in yourself. And for me, I just knew I was working on a few things, and it's good to see today. I was able to bat the situation well and get a score. But when it comes to form and stuff like that, I don't really get too caught up with it.
Jason, I realise this is a different surface from the Centurion pitch, but are you able to say whether the attack you faced there, which included, of course, Marco Janssen and Heinrich Nokia, was stronger than this attack?
I think the conditions in Pretoria are totally different here. Obviously, the conditions in Pretoria assisted the seamers a lot more. When you look back at the recent history in first class cricket, especially here at the Wanderers, it spun. It did spin on day one. I guess now that the moisture's dried out, this is probably the better part of the pitch to bat on. I think as the game goes on, I think the spinners will definitely come back into play. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the conditions in Pretoria, as I said, probably favour the fast bowlers a little bit more. But I think as this game goes on and goes a bit deeper, then the spinners are coming to play, definitely.
Just one from Adriel Richard. What is the team's approach to matches? Try to get into a position to avoid defeat first and then build towards getting into a winning position, or play to win, full stop?
We play to win. Simple.